What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode on Proven Power Cycles. MTV Crew.
That's what it sounds like when you see your shit. What's up, guys? Welcome to MTV Crew. Look at this pad.
Look at my pad. Yeah. It's so stupid. Anyway, some intros. We got Lewis over here, our main tech. Does killer work over here. And we got Daryl over here. Heyo! Surprise! Hey! And then we got Brandon over there playing with himself. Today we're gonna go over some maintenance items on a couple of bikes, and we're gonna show you guys around the shop, and again, just kind of go up and update you guys on some projects that we got going on right now. Oh my God. I've never seen one this bad. Look at that. Holy crap. All right, everyone. This is a sign of check your air filters. Good God. Look at this.
Caviar, anyone?
Holy
There's only like
crap.
6 fins. There's like 40.
Look at all the yummy in there. Jesus Christ. Yeah, all right, guys. So for those of you watching this video, please check on your air filters, for the love of God. Luckily, this is an OEM air filter, but look at that, man. So he is lucky that this is an OEM air filter. If this was an aftermarket filter, a lot more of that crud would have gone through into the engine. Clearly, they're not monitoring what is going into this motor. So, guys, maintenance, I cannot stress this enough. We constantly preach maintenance, okay? And I do this for a very specific reason, because that's what will create problems down the road. And not only that, but this is also, you want your bike to run tip top. A lot of times when we get people complaining about power loss or issues with their bike, a lot of times all it is maintenance items that we're not taking care of, okay? This bike has 28,000, and this isn't to poke fun at this person, okay, at this client. The bike has 28,000 miles. A lot of times people don't know what they need to do. That's why they're here at the shop, because it's already gotten to a point where they're running into problems now. So in this particular, we are not poking fun at anybody. This is just to create awareness for a lot of you guys out there. Let me grab a flashlight real quick. So what we also notice, we're having a lot of buildup on the throttle body assembly. You can see here. So realistically, we're probably gonna have to go in there and do a lot of cleaning. But we have a lot of gunk buildup there, and we also have a ton of oil buildup. See right there is where I'm shooting. That's right by the exhaust. So that's the cylinder head, and you can kind of start to see it. If I angle this camera a little bit around, let me see if I can. So the valve cover has a ton of deposits on it, and that's from oil, that's from leaking. We also have oil buildup on the, oh, he's also missing a nut on his exhaust right here. Notice, see right there, we're missing a nut on the exhaust flange. So that's gonna create an exhaust leak. We also have oil buildup on there. Let's see, it's really hard to see here. Yep, so we have oil buildup on there, again, coming from the valve cover leak, and he's missing an exhaust nut. He might be missing more down the line, I'm not sure, but case in point, it's very important that you guys check on these things while you are going through the bike. So this is why we do this. We check on these things, and you know, again, this is why we are very thorough. But moving on. So over here we have another ZX4rr. We are making a video on this. Lewis is in the middle of the job right now. We've got the clutch components all taken out. Again, our lifts are all taken. With the turbo builds, we are chipping away at those, hoping to get those done very soon. So it'd be great to have a lift free up again. But so we have this bike going on. We are still working on the Busa. We think we've come to the solution. So the speed sensors, we believe, were not really set correctly. We also flashed the ECU to try and help with this issue that he is having. He's having a crazy issue. Well, I've already cleared all the codes out, but he's having a crazy issue with traction control, hill climb assist, all these lift control problems, all kinds of issues with this 330 kit. So we are trying to get it rectified. And this isn't to say that's an issue with the 330 kit. It's just a lot of figuring out to do. These are new bikes. With the new bikes and new technology and new kits like this, these really extreme custom modifications, comes little issues that You just kind of have to tweak as you go along the way. But all in all, this is a Roaring Toys kit. Bobby does incredible work. It's awesome machining work, I have to say. The way they incorporate the speed sensor with the speed ring and the chain and sprocket and everything, the way they set it up with the OSD is amazing. It's incredible work. I gotta give it to him. He does really good work. So it's just a little tweaking, you know, it's just a little tweaking that we got to get figured out. Over here, we've got the R1 all carboned out. Lewis got the carbon frame cover on, these little carbon accent pieces. We got the carbon swing arm pieces, the carbon tire hugger, the carbon underbelly. This particular client of ours loves carbon fiber, and it shows. He loves it. He even did a carbon fiber upper stay on this thing, and it's pretty wicked. I'm a big fan of the upper stay. I love the way it looks in here, but Lewis knocked this out and it looks killer. Love it, love it, love it. Love the way it's coming along. He did a really good job on this one. Really a big fan. See, he was complaining about that, but it's nice and sealed now. Good job. The last thing that I got to do on this bike is I got to throw it on the dyno and get it all dialed in. He does have a tune currently on it, but he's very unhappy with whoever got the flash and tune, or wherever the flash and tune came from. He's not very happy at all. Oh, and we are going to get this sent out actually and get that re-cleared. So we're going to have that clear to kind of match the carbon that's on the bike. So it should look a hell of a lot better once that's all redone too. It should flow well with the rest of the carbon. So that's what we're aiming for on this bike. So it'll look good. So like I said, the last thing he wants is just to get this thing flashed and tuned. He wants it smooth. I've already tuned a couple of his other bikes that he's brought to us. He's a great client. And he said, man, I want your tune on this bike. Whoever did this last, it sucks, honestly. So we're going to do that. We're going to clean it up for him, and hopefully he'll start to take this bike out more. He barely rides it, he says. So once we get it all cleaned up for him, hopefully he'll be able to enjoy it a lot more and go for a lot more rides. So we're going to shoot a video on this bike, but we finally got a ZX4rr in, and we're going to do a full ECU flash and dyno tune. This one's already been outfitted with a K&N air filter and a full M4 exhaust system. Now, we've already seen some numbers on these bikes done by other tuners, and they're getting about 70 horsepower out of it, which is incredible for a 400cc bike. Normally, we're around like the 40s, I want to say, on the horsepower. It's been a while since we've really done a 400cc. Normally, we do bigger bikes, you know, 1000cc plus, and a lot of 636s and 600 classes, actually, too. But every now and then, we'll see something like this. This is kind of a rarity on the 4RR. They're not common bikes whatsoever. So this bike came up from the south, from a dealership actually, and they know about us. We've known each other for a while now, so they're like, hey, we'd really like to do a little bit more work with you guys. Let's see what you can do with this 4RR. So we're definitely going to pull our sleeves up, make sure that this thing comes out killer for them. But I'm very excited. We actually had an opportunity a while ago to flash and tune one of these, but long story short, and he's a good customer and everything, but long story short, he said, hey man, I can't go through with the project. I'm actually going to get rid of the 4RR. He's got multiple toys, and he said, I'm just going through a little patch right now. I got to get rid of it, and we're going to move on. So he ended up pulling the plug on the project that we were doing. Again, not a big deal, but we never got the opportunity to actually tune it. So now we finally got one that we can actually tune. So here it is. So we're going to make a full video on this one later. So keep an eye out for you guys out there. This is another customer of ours. We tried to clean up his injectors. He's been having injector issues. We tried to clean his injectors. We tried to get them to flow. We cannot get them cleaned out. They're just too gummed up. So we actually ordered him another set. The new set came in, and believe it or not, the new set are bad. The whole set pretty much was horrible. And they told us, hey, these have been cleaned, yada, yada, yada. It was an eBay purchase because they're really hard to find, these injectors, without them being like a China brand one. So we tried to get an OEM. We tried to stay with OEM stuff. We purchased the OEM stuff, and long story short, they ended up being bad. They were all clogged up, and they told us that they were cleaned, but we're having our doubts. Got this trick little valve. Basically, whenever you disassemble the head, Johnny over at Exoticycle made this for us. He's such a swell guy. So right now, obviously, we're missing some springs out of here. So what we did is we had a valve train from another head that we're using, and we're kind of piecing it all together here. These are all of our valves that we had. Some of these are no good, some of the valves and everything. So we're actually gonna go grab springs out of a spare head that we had laying around, a blown up motor. So I'm gonna go grab some spare springs. But all in all, we cleaned up all these valves. We made them look basically brand new. We went through, we checked them all. Everything is looking pretty damn solid. These things look basically brand new at a fraction of the cost. So for the customer. So we're gonna go ahead and like I said, we're gonna go get the springs out of this other spare head that we have. And then we are going to, we're gonna get everything aligned. There's another intake valve. So I dropped an intake valve like a dodo. There's a little nick on the valve seat. I accidentally dropped it right after I cleaned it and did all this extra work. I dropped this on the ground and I nicked the valve. Basically, this is the valve head, yeah, where it sits against the valve seat. So that's gonna create an issue over time. You can barely see it in the camera, but it's there. And anyway, that does not fly with my quality. I'm not gonna accept that. So I gotta go get another valve. Like I said, luckily we have a donor head. We had a spare head over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out of that cylinder head and fix that and replace that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 2, 4, 6. Oh yeah, so I dropped 2 valves actually. I damaged 2 of them. So anyway, I'm gonna get 2 of them fixed up, cleaned up, and replace those 2. Grab the rest of the springs, throw the springs in here, get everything nice and cleaned up, and we're gonna reassemble it. So Johnny did me a solid over here, and we've got it's got markings on it, but we're gonna clean it up before we reassemble. But anyway, he went ahead and helped me out and cut the valve seats, so we have a nice fresh cut seat. And that way, when we put the cleaned up valves, when we reassemble it with the new valves, it should seal awesome. So again, we're just taking extra steps. Believe it or not, a lot of shops won't cut the seats or recut them, so you have a nice smooth new surface. So if you look here on our 45, so you have 3 angles on these valves. You have a 30, a 60, and a 45. So on the 45, that's like the major sealing surface. That's where we recut them to make sure that they're nice and fresh with the valves. So we are going to reinstall these valves. And again, should be a lot better. We bead blasted this, so it's nice and clean. The head is a lot cleaner than what it was. This thing was pretty grungy when we got it in. So it looks a hell of a lot better. It looks basically like a brand new cylinder head, minus just some old markings here, like you can see. That's, again, it was kind of corroded up because it was sitting for a while. So we bead blasted it, got it nice and fresh. It looks a lot better than what it did. I can promise you guys that. So again, just taking a few extra steps here to make sure that they're getting good quality product, you know? So it is Friday. We are at the end of the day. The boys have left for the day. I'm just gonna do a last little clip here at the end just to show my appreciation for those of you guys who are viewing our videos and interacting with us and leaving us feedback. We really appreciate you guys out there. The last little bit I want to leave you guys with is I'm really tired and sorry, I'm a little out of it, but we got this little guy. I don't know if I went over this or not, but really trick piece that Johnny makes over at Exoticycle. He's debating on mass producing these, but I really like it. There are other trays out there that hold, this is for your cylinder head. So whenever you're disassembling, assembling a cylinder head, you put the valves and the springs in these little holes. This also is designed for Yamaha, so you can do 5 valves per cylinder. You can put your buckets in here with all your shims, your retainers, your keepers, cotters, whatever you want to call them. Really trick little piece, really cool billet. So this is kind of like one of his little prototype pieces. He's already talked to me about how he wants to kind of improve the design. Obviously, it's an M8 by 125 thread pitch here. He said he's going to put some recess. Anyway, he's going to trick this thing out, improve the design over time, but he just wanted to give me one of his prototypes. Really nice of him, and I really appreciate him for doing that. Really cool guy. Learned a lot when I was over there last night. Super cool guy. But regardless how we're leaving off, we've got still our last few bikes here. This is turning into a freaking ZX4rr and Busa warehouse, I feel like now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 ZX4rrs in the shop currently, and we have a couple of more actually scheduled to come in for whether it be modifying, engine building, servicing, you name it. We have more coming. Really cool. Super excited about all the bikes we have lined up. Oh, we do have something really cool coming. We have a turbo build coming up. The gentleman has an engine issue currently. We're gonna figure that out, but we're also gonna do a turbo build on another 14 that's coming in very, very soon. We are trying to wrap up. That's what I wanted to go over you guys with. So we got the, we finally got that ZX4rr head all wrapped up today. Got the last little bit of valves cleaned up. Now I know there's some markings here. These are just marker. These are just markers when Johnny was marking it to make sure that he was cutting the seats. He wanted to make sure that he was actually cutting them. So what he does is he marks them up, and as you cut them, you want to make sure that you're actually getting the ink off the marker. So you're not taking off a ton of material. You're taking off a very, very small amount, you know, maybe 1 thou, 2 thou at the most whenever you're cutting in these seats. So that's kind of an indication on why you mark those. But anyway, we got the valves all in here. The head is almost fully reassembled. We have some minor things to do, such as the dowel pins. We got to shim it. We're gonna throw in some we need to throw in some, what should I say, basically some shims that we think it's gonna be. We got to put the buckets on, so we got to clean all that first. We're gonna lube up these these ports here that go into the spark plugs, at least the channel. We need to clean up some of those just to, you know, for aesthetic purposes mainly, and that's about it. Put in the ECT, put the exhaust gaskets in, and then we got the boots to go on here for the throttle bodies, and thermostat housing, and we got the CCT. Just again, little minor things that we just need to all throw in here before the head's ready to go. So all in all, we are getting very, very close. Lewis took the chain out of here to lube it up to make sure that it stays lubricated during this process so we don't get any kinks. I don't know if I even ever touched base on this, but our dyno took a crap. So what ended up happening, we had really bad lightning storms, and it ended up frying part of the DynoWare module. It's a DynoWare RT, which is the main module that connects to the PC. So the communication line between the PC and the dyno module severed. Some way, some shape, some form. I don't know. I don't get it. DynoJet, we went through a bunch. We went through probably about 6 hours of diagnostics with DynoJet, back and forth, calling them, trying to figure it out. Okay, call us back after you do this. Call us back after you do that. Call us back after you do this. Very time-consuming process. We tried to cross our T's, dot our I's, and at the end of the day, they finally threw in the towel. They're like, hey, we really hate to inform you, but you're gonna have to replace your main unit. They are not cheap. And it sucks because this is about a 2.5-year-old dyno now. You really would hope it would last longer, but I do beat the crap out of this thing almost on a daily basis. What can you say? Stuff happens. So we ended up getting another one. We ended up getting 2 new ones. The first one that came in had a little bit of an issue. The second one that came in still had a little bit of an issue, but we were able to work through it and get everything resolved. So we were sending back the other units, or we sent back the other units. And so we finally got the dyno running, but that literally set us back like 4 or 5 days just on the dyno. So we have been rushing like crazy to get caught up on all the stuff that we needed to throw on the dyno. Still trying to play the catch-up game. We have about 3 bikes left that we need to play catch-up with the dyno, and then we'll finally be caught up. But we do have a full week ahead of us. Actually, we have a full 3 weeks ahead of us full of tuning. So there you have it. Very long days, very long nights. Again, guys, I like showing you this type of stuff though, and I like informing you about this type of stuff, because a lot of times people don't see the hassles. People don't see the struggles. People don't see the crap that we go through as small business owners to make this stuff work for you guys. Everyone always likes to see, oh, look at that, they're going to the track, or look at the bikes they have, look at all this stuff. But what you don't understand is the hours and hours and hours that we pour into this stuff, that, you know, if we didn't love it, we wouldn't be doing it. You know, if we didn't have that drive within us, we wouldn't be doing this type of stuff. So, I mean, For instance, and I know I spoke that I got home late last night, and I know we kind of joked about it, but truthfully, I was at Exoticycle, Johnny Turbo's last night until about 1:40 in the morning. I didn't get home until like 3:20 in the morning, and I didn't get to bed until about 4:10 in the morning. I was back up at 6 o'clock in the morning at it, going, hustling, doing the things. I'm on a huge caffeine kick right now just to get me through this day. So again, it's that type of stuff. And it's honestly, I did that so that we could progress a job that we have going in here at the shop, so we can get the jobs done for you guys out there, okay? So again, I'm not saying this to rub it in anybody's face. It's not what I'm doing. I am just strictly saying it that this is the truth. This is the behind the scenes that you don't see. And it's not just me as a shop owner doing it. This is almost any and every small business owner. This is the type of sacrifices that we go through to make our customers happy and to make sure that we're providing for them, at least the good shops. There are a lot of crappy shops out there. There's a lot of crappy small businesses, but there's also a lot of good ones out there too. So anyway, enough about that. I just, again, wanted to kind of give you guys some insight on the things that we do to make this work for you guys and to get things progressed and to keep things moving for you guys out there. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your views. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your interaction with this channel. It's growing rapidly. I couldn't be happier. Things are going great. It's a struggle to keep it going, but I enjoy it, and we all enjoy doing this for you guys. So if you could, please leave us some feedback. Please drop some comments down below. I know I don't answer to all of them, but I do read a lot of them, and I do appreciate the feedback. We really do. So leave us some feedback. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And just show us some love, guys, and we really appreciate it. It's all you got to do. Super simple. We do a lot of hours of hard work. The least you could do is just show us a little bit of love, man. All right? We appreciate you guys. Again, show us some love. See you on another episode.